Hey, what's up, everybody? This video is part of a series of videos dealing with personal finances and personal budgeting. I'm going to put this same intro at the beginning of each video. So one, if you've already watched the intro, you can go ahead and skip to today's topic. Two, if you see my clothes change or the nice virtual background change, the reason will be because I recorded the rest of the video on a different day than I did this introductory video. So the point of this series is simply to do very quick, hopefully 2 to 5 minute videos where we discuss a lot of topics dealing with personal budgeting and personal finances. So I'm going to record all of these. I have probably over 20 ideas for these really short videos. I'm going to release one a day over the next 3 to 5 weeks. And if there's a topic that you want to hear about, please go ahead and post it in the comments. Maybe it's one that I have coming up, and then I'll release that one in the future. Or perhaps it's something that I haven't talked about or thought about on my list, and I can address that as I continue the series. So without any further comments, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic. All right, at this point, you understand what budgeting is. It's intentionally creating a plan for your money so that you're in a better position tomorrow than you are today. You understand why you should budget. You've overcome the hurdles of either I have too much money or plenty of money and I don't need to budget. No one thinks they have too much. I have plenty of money, I don't need to budget, or I don't have enough money, I can't budget. You've overcome those hurdles. You know that we're doing zero-based budgeting. You also know that we're doing an envelope or a bucket system budget. You have software that will budget the correct way so that you can reach your financial dreams and goals. Now, what's the first step in actually doing the budget? Okay, hold up. We're not quite to the budget yet, because the first step in setting up the software is going to be accounting for the money that you already have. Now, there is cash in the bank. It might be $50 and it might be $5,000, but you have cash in the bank right now. You may also have credit cards with balances on them. I'm going to get into credit cards in detail in a week or so when we're talking about debt and credit cards. But right now, let's just talk about the money that you have on hand, because when you set up your program, I use YNAB. Go back to yesterday's video and look at why I recommend that. I don't get any, I don't use affiliate links. I don't get paid by anybody. I just personally use that software. So it is what I recommend. But you have a program in place. You're going to create the login. You're going to link your bank account because it's going to import your transactions. You don't have to manually put them in, but you are going to have to manually categorize them into an expense category or where you use that money from. So once you start, let's just say for the ease of this example, you have $3,000 in the bank and you have $1,000 on your credit card that you owe them. So net available to you is $2,000, but you have $3,000 in the bank, and you set up your checking account with the starting balance of $3,000. You set up your credit card with a starting balance of $1,000. You then are going to have to allocate. So we talked about in the video a couple of days ago with the zero-based budget that you have to allocate all income coming in. But the first step is we have to also allocate all the money we already have. So if we have $3,000 on the budget tab in YNAB, if you're using that program, or it should be the same in any other program, if you have the right type of program to do this, you will have $3,000 available to allocate. So you're going to need to allocate that $3,000. I recommend, if you can, you may not be able to yet at this point, but if you can, the first $1,000 should be allocated to paying off that credit card, because you're going to want to get to a point where you can pay your credit card off in full every single month. You do not want to carry a credit card balance. Now, if you can't do that, that's okay. Allocate what you can to paying towards the credit card, but then start to allocate all the other stuff. So if we're halfway through the month, you're going to need to allocate some money to groceries and some money to gas, tolls, if you have tolls where you are, some money to eating out or fun activities. You may have, of that $3,000, you may say, hey, 500 of that is in a savings account. I don't want to touch it. It's savings. So allocate savings. Remember, go back to that video if you need to. We're not just allocating expenses that are flowing out. We're also allocating towards savings goals. So if we have $3,000 in the bank, yes, 50 of it might be for gas, 100 might be for groceries, and 500 of it might be for the beginning of our emergency fund. So you're going to allocate that. So as you're allocating this $3,000, it's going to show, at least in YNAB, how much is left. I had 3,000, now I have 2,900, now I have 2,500, now I have 2,000. So if there's any money left, once you allocate out what you need for that month in your savings, put it towards that credit card. But again, if it says you have $10 left to allocate, find a category for it, whether it be a category of spending or it be a category of saving. So all your categories should add up to exactly, not a dollar less, not a dollar more, exactly $3,000 if that's what you have in the bank. So that's how this virtual envelope system and the zero-based budgeting works. So that's your very first step, is to allocate what you already have towards your priorities and what you need this month. The last thing I'll say is, if you over allocate, if you allocate $3,005, then the program, YNAB will, any other program will show that you've over allocated by $5, and you will need to subtract that out of another category in order to balance. So as we move forward in our budgeting, you will always have whatever your account. If you have 20 bank accounts, you have multiple savings accounts, you have CDs, you have 2 checking accounts for whatever reason. If you have multiple accounts that add up to $12,000, $12,521.33, then all of your envelopes in the budgeting tab should also add up to that exact same number to the penny, because you're allocating every dollar that you have towards something, so that eventually you're not really looking at what's in the bank account to spend money. I mean, you want to make sure your balance is good and everything like that before you spend money out of a particular account. But really, where you're going to be focused is on that budget tab, because it's telling you what the purpose of your money is. Who cares really what account it's sitting in, other than knowing which one to use the money out of? But you need to know what your priorities are, what you have, if you're reaching those goals, and you're going to be looking at the budget tab in those buckets or virtual envelopes to see what you have available to spend on specific categories, right? Just because there's $5,000 in the checking account doesn't mean you have money to spend on eating out, because you may have already spent your allocation for eating out. Now, you can always reprioritize. We'll get into this in depth more, but sure, you can reprioritize. It's your budget. I mentioned this in what is a budget. Go back and watch that if you forgot or didn't watch it. It's up to you to reprioritize. You can move stuff around. My goal is to get you to do it intentionally instead of unintentionally. My name is Brad. I'm with Wooten CPA. My goal is to bring peace to your tax and accounting responsibilities. One of the ways I do that is through these videos here on YouTube. Please like this video, share this video for others to see, and subscribe to the channel if you would. That way, you're also notified when new videos come out. There will be over 20 in this series of personal finance and personal budgeting that I'm going to try to keep in that 2 to 5 minute window, so they'll be easy to digest for you. Hopefully that they are helpful for you, and I appreciate you watching the videos.